Hi, and welcome to the Figure Friendly Foodie. I want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Nancy Valentino, and you may remember me from my 100-pound weight loss journey. My 100-pound weight loss story I never thought was going to get over 1 million views on my old weight loss channel. But I decided to kind of start something new and dedicate a whole YouTube page for weight loss and figure-friendly recipes. A lot has changed since I shared my story with you guys 3 years ago. So in this video today, I'm going to attempt to answer some commonly asked questions, as well as introduce you to my whole weight loss series. I am the author of a couple of ebooks. Embracing the Change was my big bestseller here on YouTube, as well as Maintaining the Change. And I've actually written a cookbook as well, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later in this video. So this is a big year for me. This is about year 5 in my journey of maintaining. But recently, AOL.com decided to feature me in a weight loss story, and EverydayHealth.com did a story on me as well. So I'm going to link that article for you below, just in case you're interested in reading that. You may find it to be very helpful in your own weight loss journey. So before I really get in depth with my story and this whole weight loss journey, I want to tell you that I am proof that you can do this. You can do this without family, friends, any support, money. You don't have to have money to, go through a weight loss transformation like this. You can do this, and along the way in my weight loss series, I'm going to show you how to do this, and I hope you guys will stick around and enjoy the channel and enjoy everything that the Figure Friendly Foodie has to offer. Give you a very condensed background of my story, because again, I believe that things that happen when you are younger really affect who you are and who you are going to be, where you're kind of going in life. I grew up in a lower middle class Puerto Rican family, and I was told that I was going to be big and fat my whole life. I was told that from a very young age. In my family, nobody really cared about calories and fat. We didn't live this life of, eating healthy. I never even knew what that was until I was in my early 20s and on my own weight loss journey. But I had no idea about portion control, calories, fat, any of that stuff. And more specifically, growing up in a Puerto Rican family, we were eating all these foods that were not so healthy for you. And when we'd go over to my grandparents' house, you had to finish the food in front of your plate, because that was out of respect. Like, you always finished what your grandparents gave you. And even like on Easter or Christmas or a holiday, you went to all the grandparents' house, everybody's house, and everybody had food, and you had to eat it because you didn't want to be disrespectful. And that mindset kind of carried over with me throughout the years, even when I wasn't in a setting where I had to finish my food or my grandparents would be upset. So that was something that always kind of, I would say that is something that really definitely got me into trouble along the way. In high school, I enjoyed the fine art of dining out. Something that's quite interesting is my husband, well, my boyfriend, now husband, we met when I was about 15, and he introduced me to the fine art of dining out, restaurants, malls, going to the movies. And yeah, I had never been to a restaurant or anything like that, and I discovered the Caesar salad. And I would say Applebee's chicken Caesar salad was one of my major downfalls. I remember getting extra dressing. My salad would be so snow white, you could not see any sort of green on the actual plate. I remember going to the movies and just pigging out. Like, I just felt like I had this free reign, because my husband was or my boyfriend at the time, now husband, was introducing me to this whole new life. I had never known that food could be this good, and I've always been someone with a hearty appetite. So it was about this time that I started to gain weight. In about 2.5 short years, I gained 60 pounds. By the time I was a senior in high school, I was almost 200 pounds and barely recognizable. But I didn't think I had a problem at that point. My unhealthy eating habits caused kidney stones along the way. I was lethargic all the time and constipated constantly. And let's just be honest here, everybody poops, I'm just saying. First time I realized that I was fat was a moment that I will never forget. I had just gotten married, and we were sharing our wedding photos with family members and such, and I remember a family member, we heard through the grapevine that my mother-in-law was cracking jokes with the rest of the family, calling me a fat cow and saying I was so fat that I could carry my husband over the threshold. And that was probably one of the most hurtful things. I mean, my mom had always cracked jokes about me looking so fat I looked pregnant and stuff. But when it was actually, which that did hurt, but on my wedding photos, I think that was one of the things that just hurt my heart so much. And to this day, I can't even put the pictures out because I am so ashamed, but it made me look at myself and say, you know what? Yeah, I am pretty big. You know, looking at pictures before I met my husband, I was, you know, a pretty thin girl, but, you know, unhealthy eating habits caught up to me. And while the pain did eventually fade, I am so thankful that I did have that hurtful moment in my life, because really, if you think about it, it was a blessing in disguise. I had to find out through a really cruel way, but you know what? I was fat, I was unhealthy, and I needed to do something about it, but I had no idea what to do. Again, I didn't know how to work out. I didn't know how to eat right. I would say, okay, well, let's just go to a restaurant and I'll get a salad, but then I would still get the creamy dressings. I would, you know, get a chicken quesadillas because it wasn't a burger. You know, all these unhealthy options that I thought were good because I didn't know. I even had a stint with diet pills, and I'm going to refer you to my video where I talk and discuss my experience with diet pills and give you guys my thoughts. You can find that right here. Shortly after I got married and, you know, I found out there were jokes about me, I was hurt, but, you know, I went on with my life. I was putting myself through college, and I got a job part-time working at a daycare, which did help me to kind of lose some weight. I didn't know why I was losing weight, but I'm like, you know what, this is great. I'm losing weight, I can eat whatever I want to, I can, you know, have those fancy drinks at, you know, the restaurants and stuff. So it was around that time that I was starting to gain again, and I had no idea why. And it was around that time that we also decided to start our family, and I remember saying to myself, you know what, I know we're thinking about having a baby, so, you know, that whole, you know, myth where you could just eat whatever you want. I'm just going to eat whatever I want to, and I'll deal with it after I have my baby. After I had my beautiful baby girl, I was the biggest I had ever been, and I could not fit into a size 18-20, and that really got me scared because I was trying on my pre-pregnancy clothes well after, you know, that water weight and everything goes away. I couldn't fit into anything, and I felt like my life at that point was a nightmare. Around this time, I developed severe postpartum depression, and I went to my doctor to try to see if he could get me on some type of antidepressant. It was around that time that we were in his office, I'll never forget this day, and he's talking in his microphone, giving, I guess, notes about my case, you know, and he said something I will never forget. He said, "Patient is severely obese." And that gutted me because I knew I was fat, you know, but I didn't think I was severely obese. And I remember after that I was so insulted that I did not take the antidepressants, and my anger fueled my motivation at this point. I had no money for a gym or a personal trainer. At this point in my life, I had a newborn, and I was putting myself through graduate school, and I did not have a job because the daycare I worked at decided not to keep me after I had the baby. I had no support, no family. My parents chose not to be involved, and my husband's family didn't want to be involved in our life. So it was just my husband and I, and I can look back at that time as a really scary time, but a very happy time in my life, because at this point I didn't know what to do, so I just decided to, you know, I like to call it, I took advantage of nature's resources. I decided to go to my local park and just start jogging and working up a good sweat. And I remember, and I get emotional sometimes talking about it, because I remember my husband was with the stroller rooting for me on the sidelines, and I remember just being really hot and sweating and just being fueled by anger and being motivated at the same time. You know, I do not want to be obese. You know, I am not a cow, and I am not so fat that I can carry him over the threshold. And that really helped kind of fuel and mold my motivation. For the first time in my life, I started to see some results, and I remember wanting to take it to the next level. I still wanted to try to eat healthy. So it was around this time that I really educated myself on food, because that is such a big part of it. Diet is important. Exercise is important, I should say, but diet is really important too. Both of them go hand in hand and really make for a successful and long-term success story. So I remember really being appalled at the things I was eating and putting into my body, and portions. I started to really educate myself and learn, and I kept a food journal. I would, find recipes on TV, and I would write them down. I remember having this big binder, and I still have it to this day. And I thought to myself, you know what? There's not a lot of healthy options. Around this time, restaurants weren't doing, nutritional info. They weren't giving that information out. So I decided, you know what? Going out to eat, dining out is a waste of money. Again, I was still putting myself through grad school, strapped on cash with a newborn. So I decided to make my own figure-friendly recipes. And I looked at this whole philosophy, or this whole journey, as a philosophy. Total mind, body, and soul makeover. It was not dieting. I have to say that to you. That's something big. I did not diet my way through a 109-pound weight loss journey. I made a life change, a commitment, and I was motivated. And you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want this? During the whole journey of me sharing, my 100-pound weight loss video on YouTube, I've gotten thousands of emails and comments, questions, and one of the most negative aspects of this whole thing are people saying you need to eat a sandwich, or you need to go eat a hamburger or something. And to that I have to laugh, because I have dessert every night. I never go hungry. I have hamburgers, lasagna, ice cream, cake, cheesecake. I eat everything. I prepare my own meals, and I think that's important, and we're going to go into that in a future video about that. This is a whole series on maintaining weight loss plateau, diet pills. We're going to discuss it all. It's the figure-friendly versions of my food. I really feel like it set a foundation. It totally changed my life. I never feel like I have to cheat. We're going to be doing a video on cheating. Please see my video on cheating. I don't cheat, and I feel totally guilt-free every time I put something in my mouth. I prepare a lot of my things, and I don't miss not going, dining out and stuff. People talk, loose skin has been one of the biggest questions, and I kind of saved one of the biggest questions for last. Yes, I do suffer from loose skin. I do suffer, you see my bikini picture, and a lot of people say, I refuse to believe that's you. Well, it is me, and I am so blessed and grateful that the loose skin that I have is easily concealable under my panty line or bikini. It goes all the way down where the southern region is, if you know what I mean. It's loose, it's wrinkly, it's soft. No matter how much, cardio I do or ab work I do, it's soft skin. It's not going to go away. It needs to be surgically removed. I do need a breast lift, because I was someone who was big-breasted my whole life, and after my weight loss journey, I basically essentially had this new body, and we're going to talk about, self-image and, life after a weight loss, in this weight loss series. But, I definitely would benefit from a breast lift and a tummy tuck. So I hope you guys will join me, in this whole weight loss series, and I hope that my story and these weight loss videos and discussions and motivational videos will really aid you in your own weight loss journey, whether you're looking to lose 5 pounds or 50 pounds, 100 pounds and above. I really hope that, you can pick up some tips and tricks along the way. I thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck on your weight loss journey, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.
Thanks for watching my mommy.